All right, guys, we are live. It is Tuesday, and I'm sorry that we are late. Of course, it's my fault. You know what I mean? Forgot I had something to do on Tuesday night, but we are here. We got a lot to talk about. So as soon as you get in here, please do us a favor and hit the like button. I wish I had a flyer to show you guys right now, but anyway, let me bring up my co-host right here on every Tuesday night, Mayor Frank McClary. Mayor McClary, let me do something I was supposed to do earlier. Again, I'm running behind, and probably sounds horrible, and I can fix that right here.
Yeah, you're coming through pretty clear.
Let's see here. Where are you? There you go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good deal. Anyway, everybody, welcome to Real Talk Tuesday. You know, this is what we do every Tuesday night. It is the number one political show in South Carolina. Of course, at least it's my favorite. But Mayor McClary, how are you today? And how you doing? How was your week?
Oh man, yeah, trying to hang in there. You probably can tell I'm a little exhausted, man. We've been trying to get things, set before we take this break here for Thanksgiving. And so it's been kind of a busy time, but we're moving right along. What's happening on your end?
Ain't nothing. I had to throw up the Thanksgiving festivities there. Same deal, man.
Yeah. Hey, let me make sure your rooster's not in here. I saw you chasing chickens earlier.
I was just.
What's going on with that,
bro? This damn rooster. And so he hadn't been back yet. Now I'm in here by myself, so it's gonna be quiet, and he's gonna think nothing's moving around. So when I came back earlier today, I made sure to come back around sun. Once the sun starts going down, they go to roost.
Yeah, they roost. Yep.
And my front step is his desired roost area. And I don't know if anybody, if you're familiar with chickens, I ever had chickens, boy, when they roost, they poop. The whole time they sleeping, they poop, and they're like in a zombie state because they can't really see. But he manages, because there's enough light in the front of the house to where he already know now. As soon as he hear me open that door and close it, when I come around that van, he gone. And so
this is the guy you raised.
No, this is not my rooster. This is
your rooster.
No, this is the neighbor's rooster.
Does he realize the time of year it is? Because if you can't get a hold of a turkey,
that's what I'm talking about right
the next option is to have roosters on the table.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about he is a healthy boy too.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, but he broke out somehow the other night, and again causing chaos around here. He took one of my hens. I thought he done you know what I mean? He was like, yo, your hen chose me.
Not a Snoop Dogg.
Oh man, I'm talking about it got gangster around here. And then here's the thing. In the morning, he'll be in the back right around the roost crowing. You know what I mean? Like this dude he's just a free bird. He's like, that dude is not gonna be cooped up. He'll come around the coop, but he won't, he is not gonna be cooped up, man.
Take it from a guy who my grandparents had, every bird there is, at the house. And so we would chase these things, and we weren't supposed to, but we did. These are the hardest things to trap or to catch. You can trap them. Yeah. Trying to catch them. That method you were using this morning, I said, nah, you're not going to catch them.
Nah. And the key is like, because that night he broke out and took that one hen with him. The other hen
took one.
Yeah, she was gone. She gone all day. I came back from a job. She hanging up around the coop. I said, leave you behind outside. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what?
He took your daughter.
He took. I'm talking about took, but the other one was sitting up on this. Was sitting up on this thing, and I was able to just walk up to, you know what I mean, and grab, because at night again they get real, you know, kind of
they're vulnerable.
Yeah, man. But yeah,
so I thought he was just hanging around, but he came and took one of the hens.
Nah, and he won't leave. He's scared to go. He's scared to go. He's scared to go back up that block. That's what I figured out, because that rooster up the block. Oh yeah, that boy, they look like he.
Can y'all see? It's literally at war.
Bruh, I had a stick. And guys, we're gonna get to some politics and all that. I promise y'all. But I had a stick that I got off of Beaver Dam.
That's right.
And the mistake I made is that I didn't seal it.
Yeah.
So that was the nearest thing that I could kind of get to kind of throw, and that stick broke. And now it's really serious now. Like, I broke that stick. Yeah, man.
I will tell you that they're very smart. I'm telling you, I have a scar, and I think it's under my left eye right now from chasing my grandparents' livestock, because we were out in the country, just out there in Williamsburg, and so they free to go and do what they want to. And so so my cousins came up from Florida. We thought it was cool, showed them what we have, and we just broke every rule that my grandparents had. So we chasing the chickens and the hogs, and those chickens are smart. They led me right into the barbed wire that I knew was there all my life, and it was just at that at that height, almost ripped my eye out, man. So I would say, if you're going to chase them, just know that these guys know where to lead you.
But and to that point, in my research, I realized chickens. So we see three colors: RGB, red, green, blue, right? And that's our spectrum. Well, because it's called a tri, we got like the tri something cones, Yeah,
you're going deep on me now. All right.
Well, chickens have four. They have a tetra, whatever. They have 4 cones. So where we see in this spectrum right here, and outside of my hand, you can't see. Like, on one side is ultraviolet, the other side is like gamma rays. Well, chickens they can see UV light. And so they're seeing, and not only can they see UV light, but they can see far and close at the same time. So when they bobbing their heads, it's like they're adjusting a camera, and they inspect you on a whole nother level. So to your point, yes. And I'll take that into precaution, because I can't stand them.
Yeah, they could lead into some things, but it's probably, and we'll get off the chicken thing, but I think it's pretty fascinating. The boxes, part of their training, just trying to catch them. Chase them. If you can catch them, I mean, it's so. Yeah, those are pretty smart guys, but they're not that good, because we still have KFC, Chick-fil-A, so Church's Chicken. So they're not that smart. We know how to catch them. Hey, but along those lines, though, again, Thanksgiving is here, and I want to recognize some folks, man, for a lot of hard work here this past couple of days, last week and weekend. First, Ms. Veronica McCray, Jerry Davis, Mr. Puka, those guys. So we had about 110 turkeys that was donated on behalf of myself and the pro tem. And they distributed those turkeys out to, and the target audience was some folks age 75 and older. I didn't know we had that many seniors in that bracket, but we were able to get those out, and then some other folks who was probably not at their best in terms of being able to put what they want on the table. So we were able to get those out to folks, and I want to thank all of those folks I just mentioned for taking the time. Oh yeah, and the pro tem, he was out distributing as well. And so then Mr. Zay Tisdale came back right behind us and gave out several dozen turkeys. I'm talking the big ones. I'm not talking about that little, like the little rooster you were chasing. These are some big, nice turkeys, man. I think it's going to make folks dinner table, you know, it's going to make it work. And so I want to thank them all, you know, all of them, Monique, you know, down there at the Universal Sports Bar. That's where that distribution happened. And so there's a lot of good things. So if anybody out there that you know, that, you know, our listeners know that is in need of food during this time, please let us know. And we'll try to do what we can to help them out. Okay. But that was a big deal. I enjoyed it. Got an opportunity to pass out a few myself. And just good to interact with people, man, that you can put, you know, a little joy in their hearts and a smile on their face, man, you know. And so it's about giving. We ask that everyone take that role to help someone else make sure that they have a very good Thanksgiving.
No doubt. I've been yeah, that's I know she don't like me talking about it, but yeah, Yada's been on me about us adopting a family this year, or a couple families this year, or for the holidays, and so yeah, I
It's good.
encourage
Yeah,
that.
it's a big deal, man. It's amazing, and I don't think this has anything to do with, you know, what's happening at the national level in terms of the shutdown. I think just people struggle from day to day all the time,
every day.
And so that's part of our responsibility as a community is to ensure that our neighbors are, you know, have a decent meal on the table. So that's what I challenge all of us to take part in that. So I'm with Yada. Y'all go ahead and grab it. And so that's a big deal, bro. So you guys are gonna be up this way, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna head down that way in the morning. I'll be down that way in the morning. I supposed to have. Oh man, I had a conversation about politics. Of course, I'm always talking politics.
Yeah. Everybody wants to hear a little bit about politics. We got a couple of things on the agenda.
Well, no. I was having a conversation with the gentleman about Williamsburg County politics in particular, and well, Williamsburg and our district as a whole. You know what I mean? And I was enlightened to some things, man. Hey, I think that's better right there. I was enlightened to some. I think the other one's better.
I kind of like the red car.
Yeah.
Not a red guy, but it kind of stands out for your background.
Yeah, that's another thing too, man. Is I'm getting off on a tangent, but yeah, I had a conversation about Williamsburg County, and I think it's gonna. I'm working on something, because do you know what's involved in our politicians bringing a bill forward? Like, you know the process. Do you know if it's a let me use a big word, if it's an arduous process, if it's a complicated process, as far as not passing it? I get it has to go through different committees, but I'm talking about the all right, let me at least introduce this. Do you know how difficult or not difficult that process is?
I think that getting it from a bill to a law, that's the difficult piece.
That's the difficult piece.
Yeah, but every legislator have the opportunity to introduce a bill.
I'm going to be careful here, because I don't want to. We don't ever talk about what we can talk about.
No.
But I'm going to be careful here on my behalf, on my part. But I'm asking you a question. So, and it's hypothetical, right? If you're in a position for a protracted period of time, and the process of actually introducing legislation, things that could probably help your area, I don't think I could cover this.
I've never seen a discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm working on something, man, that's really, really vital for Williamsburg County, because that county really needs a breakthrough, because we're going to talk about some things that's going on over in Williamsburg County, along with, you know what I mean, the other things that's going on over in Williamsburg County. And the question is, are our legislators, if you're in office for this amount of time and the process of actually introducing legislation is not a hard process, but in that period of time that you've been there, you've only introduced less than 10, you know what I mean? And I'm cautious because I don't want to lose people. I don't want to lose myself in what I'm saying.
Well,
but go ahead.
Let me see if I can. I think if it's necessary. So we have laws and we have policies, and we, you know, these current elected officials, you know, are not creating something new all the time. I mean, things are there. Now, can you improve what's out there? It's like our Constitution. You have the bills, you know, I mean, you have amendments and all that stuff. So things can be changed, or, you know, as conditions or whatever, you know, suggest that, hey, we need to tweak this law or whatever. Or if you want to introduce something new that's going to, again, benefit not just your district, perhaps, you know, the entire state, there's opportunities. Now, if you're not a person that have initiated one, then that's not necessarily a curse on you. You may be saying that everything is fine in my district, or the things that we need to fix doesn't require to become law.
Okay, so all right, now I guess this carries us right into to where we're gonna get at in the politics now. Okay. So with that being said, giving the rise in gun violence in our area, right?
Okay.
Could it be looked at as I don't know. I mean, you like to show up to different rallies and different things like that. That's important, right? But if you sit in a position where you could actually, you know what I mean, spearhead some legislation that could really bring about some change, and you don't do that, I think that's derelict in your duty.
And I think that's now that particular issue, this issue, you're absolutely right. I think because there's and you can't legislate guns out of people's hands.
Cannot do it. You cannot do it. But
can't do it. However, I think with this problem set that we have, there's a range of things that we can do to put in place that makes this, you know, less desirable for people to carry weapons or to use them. And if you, well, not necessarily carry them, because again, I get it. Everybody wants to, you know, know Frank McClary is not against the Second Amendment. I'm an infantryman, so I'm okay with guns, but there has to be things in place that makes it a little bit more difficult for people who are not familiar and have to become familiar with this. Not only just this weapon, but the safety part of it. What happens if you use it, you know, improperly? It's a lot of things that we can do. And so, to your point, if every legislator hasn't attempted to do something to curtail what's happening, because, you know, we have issues all around, and we just had another vigil this past Saturday for not just a young man who was recently killed, but it covered a lot. And so it drove me to looking at numbers, because they wanted me to, you know, speak, and it was, you know, and that was an appropriate thing too. But I wanted to really talk to the people about, you know, let's get down to the nuts and bolts. What's really happening? What are some of the common things around each of these shootings? And so it drove me to look at things. It drove me to look at the law. And I had never, since, you know, this open carry and all this other business we had that just happened a few years ago, I never really read the details of it until I started preparing for this march on Saturday. And there's absolutely zero requirement to check anybody's background to ensure that this person, none of that. Nothing is required. However, if someone from another state has to have either some reciprocity situation before. If someone else from another state wanted to bring a gun into South Carolina, it's required that they have a background check and go through all of those things that we don't do, as if we don't have people, as if we don't have a problem in South Carolina. Now,
well, and that's good old boy legislation.
So if I'm, and then we look at the community where the majority of those people that are losing their lives to gun violence, and again, it's not the gun, it's the people behind it. Make that clear. So then if you look at the community, as you peel this onion back, and you will start to see things that you start to see the age. So it's very young. In our case, the seven murders or homicides that has happened in and around Andrews, I think there's only one just outside of Andrews, which was at Safe Right, wasn't inside of the city limits. The age group from 17 to 30. Okay, the victims. All black men. Two black young ladies. Who are the shooters? Black men. So when you start to peel this back, and as a legislator sitting, in my respective place, then I think I can find something that says that we have to figure out a way to curtail or make this a little bit more challenging for, and I will be even more specific. If I'm a black legislator, and this has happened in the black community to young black men on both ends, then I think I could come up with, I could figure something out that says, look, we need to target this, something has to be done. So if that's not happening, I don't know. I haven't gone and checked it. As you said earlier, we don't discuss what we're going to talk about here. So I haven't done the research to see if there's any bill or legislation out there that's trying to pass through the Senate in the House. I don't know, but I know it's not moving fast enough, because when I did my research, the current law says you can just run around here like it's a wild, wild west. And it shouldn't be that way, because they're going to.
How much of that, and we're talking black men,
mm-hmm.
How much does lifestyle contribute to that? How much does the type of lifestyle that you choose contribute? And I mean, I know that there's no hard number there, but is that a part of the conversation as you move around and you because you're on the front line of this?
Yeah, I think further study and investigation into this thing, you'll start to see all of these other elements that play into these type situations. So I did not look from that. I was looking at pretty much the demographics, age, race, environment, and then there's no, as I was telling someone today, there's no place you can probably go in let's say the United States, probably in South Carolina, that hasn't had a shooting, whether it's a mass or church, schools, grocery stores, public facilities, you name it, it's happening. So so it's a lot of things we can draw from these incidents. And I wouldn't say that your economic status and where you find yourself, whether it's by choice or
I don't buy that at all.
No.
That's why I bring up the lifestyle part.
Yeah.
Because historically, blacks have been on the bottom of the economic ladder, the socioeconomic ladder here in America. And even during the times of Jim Crow, and you can go back during the times of segregation and all these other times, there's always interracial violence. That's just wherever you go. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna find no Japanese killing no Koreans, unless in isolated situations. But my point is, no, I've never been of the belief that your socioeconomic status determines your you know what I mean? Because again, when blacks didn't have a lot, they didn't turn to stealing, they didn't turn to violence, and so
I agree. However, you know, when you throw this net out there and start analyzing, you know, whether it's gun violence or teen pregnancy, whatever the case may be, there are going to be those things that all of this drop down menu that says in this population that we studied, here are the things that are common. So then you can't avoid if that population ends up in, you know, in this circuit or a certain economic status, then that becomes a part of the data. Now, but it goes back to the individual, in my opinion. That person, where's that, you know, that individual, not because if you are robbing someone because your family has to, you know, robbing a store, it's still there are other options.
Yeah, there's no
okay. You should not, that should not be an option for you.
But here's the thing. Okay, what is the dominant force in the Black community now? And I'm harping on the music and the what and if you look at the bio of most rappers, it's almost a carbon copy, cutting carbon copy. You know what I mean? Oh, I came up, you know what I mean? I had to struggle in the streets and bum, 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 bum. And that's the narrative that a lot of kids will adopt, even when in fact that, you know what I mean? I didn't even grow up like that.
Well, I'll say this, as this world turns, I'm not so sure that is as valid as it probably was, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. And I say this because you look now, that style of music is bumping in young Black men, young white men, women. It is now universal, that music.
Yeah.
But then you go back to look at the list I was just telling you. I mean, I'm just talking about, why aren't those folks, if the music is the thing that drives you to that point, why aren't now we have more diversity in these killings? Because
the white folks aren't, they observing the music and they taking the music in like this cup. They're not immersing themselves in what's in this cup. And so that's why violence is not like reaching them on that era, because the violence is coming from a lot of, you know, bad behavior in the street amongst these, you know, the folks that's getting, not all the time, because you have innocent people that find themselves in bad situations. I'm not saying that this is what happens 100% of the time, but go ahead.
Well, and again, I believe it now. It's throughout, you know, our communities, you know. So then maybe if what you're saying is a fact, or, you know, then that same music maybe, because if you start now, we're talking gun violence, you start looking at the heavy drug use. I'm talking about that stuff that takes you out, you know, in one hit.
Yep, that fit.
So then now you look at that population.
And again, I'm a big rock and roll fan.
Okay.
And that music influences that crowd also.
And I don't know if it's, but I would say you take that same, if these people all fall under this rap, Black, white, young, male, female, then Blacks, you know, you see more, you know, the numbers are higher when it comes down to gun violence. You see the number high over here with drug use and drug overdose. Then it's.
I think my overall thing is
I don't know.
My overall thing is you, especially parents that's listening to this conversation, you got to be careful with what people are taking in. You know, and again, that's the angle that I see it from, is because I see the violence. I see the direct correlation to it, because I'm immersed in that music.
That's what I was about to say, but bingo. And I'm not. Yeah. You know, I have my you know, my select folks that I listen to. Some of it's rap. Don't get me wrong. My niece and all of them, they wish I wouldn't listen to some of that, because, you know, I'll drop a line on them from time and two.
That's that.
I'm not as familiar. And so I respect then, again, your point of view on this and how this may be a key factor to, because I don't care what it is, you listen to it long enough, it's just like any cult.
I don't see it no difference as the way gospel music can change your mood, and can lift you up and put you in a whole nother place. You could be feeling one way and you pop on some Lee Williams and you start listening to them inspirational messages and they start getting in your body and you start grooving with the move and all of a sudden you in a whole different place. That's no different than NBA Youngboy setting his concert stage up, for lack of a better term, like a church, the same place you can go and get the Holy Ghost in you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have thousands of kids that sit there and they have these stages set up like altars.
Mm-hmm.
So my theory, my thinking is the same way that something can get in you when you go into that church, that's the same way something can get into these kids when they sit there and consume this stuff, put the headphones on, and this message is
right. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and so
I think that's anything you can. If you listen, it could be an individual, whomever you're listening to. If that's all that you're focusing on, then you're going to see yourself start to go where that person, that music, or whatever the case may be. And that's a very good point. Now, but the thing is, then how is that managed? Because if you and I can listen to that same music before we got to this point in our lives,
adults got to be adults,
and it not steer you in that direction to, this is how I'm going to, resolve a conflict. Where do we start?
That music, if they treat that music,
manage that.
If they treat that music like this alcohol in their houses, you wouldn't give this alcohol to your child. You wouldn't give this alcohol to your teenage child.
Maybe not.
Well, depends on the house, But
it's a new day. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but the point is that music it has a label on it.
Yeah.
It says that it's not for children. You got video games with the same thing. And so, like you said, if you consume such and again, music is not the overall. That's not the key. If you stop rap, you go stop violence. No, because it was violence before rap.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so I'm just trying to zero in on what's driving this.
But so that's where we always stop. That's as far as we can get with these issues. So now, how do we find, where is the solution? Where is this thing instilled in these people? Rather, again,
treat rap like alcohol in your house. Your kid gonna be mad because he can't drink this Remy, and they'll be mad because they can't listen to Remy Ma.
Well, the difference is that now when they leave the house, they're not going to leave there with a bottle. They maybe get to it, but again, music make me lose control. Music is
shout out to my man Carter Weaver.
So it is hard to keep that away from the kids. It's in everything. It's you got your smartphone. Everywhere you go, you get access to this music. So
you got to walk with them through it. That's why I dived into the drill rap.
Yeah.
To that murderous drill rap that people know, because these kids are speaking that language, and that's one of my tactics that you use. Like, I'll hit one of them rhymes, and now it's not cool no more for them. They're like, man, my daddy doing it. It can't be cool.
Yeah, they step away from it. They don't want to be on Facebook because we're on Facebook.
There you go.
We are doing TikTok. They don't want. But again, this is, and it's serious. I know we have a little laughter with this thing, but it is so serious that where are those control mechanisms? Where are those things that causes this person? Where's the delay between the incident and your response? How do you build that in? You know, it's almost like, you know, if in this situation on TV, if you got that 10-second delay to make sure, okay, we're going to make sure there's no swear words or this kind of thing happening, and you can do it. What is that mechanism? Is that from parenting?
100%. If that was a question, hell yeah, 100%.
Now you know, when we were away from our parents or adults back then, it's a little bit different now. We would say things that we weren't allowed. We'd use some words, you know, in our young teenage years.
Oh yeah,
that we weren't allowed to. But we know if there was an adult that came around, that's off. That's not the case now. Anywhere you go. In fact, we were on the march the other day, and some young kids was dropping some words that was just, and I'm like, I'm 62 and I'm not the oldest person, you know, within earshot of what's going on. So there's a breakdown.
Offended by everything, ashamed of nothing.
And so that's what's got it. Now I don't even know if we bounce back. You can't legislate that either. That is that.
If you start if you start, I believe. Again, I've got my dictator hat on right now, and no, I'm not supporting Trump no more. You know what I mean? We then.
Oh no! Oh man!
Yeah, hey. We off the MAGA. Oh, I'm one of them ones that split. I'm one of them ones that's
I gotta write this down.
You promised us America first, and you ain't delivering. Oh, you listen. I don't care about any politician, man. You my favorite politician. You the only one that seem to really care about this stuff. For $600 a month.
Hey, some of them think I make more than that. So,
oh man.
But yeah, it's you're right. I mean, but how do we reach that? You know, one of the things I said to the young folks out there, man, is that things got to be more than just a trail ride and going to these things when are they in the church, not just in the church, because right now you can some of these places they go into, it's not being taught what we were taught going to church. You could rarely, I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, just hop around. Who's doing altar call? Who is now talking about how do you now become closer to God? It's not a lot of that happening. And so if you start rushing kids into a church and they don't have that foundation coming out of the home in terms of what's right and what's wrong, and if you go into the wrong place with the wrong leader, I don't care whether it's where I sit, they sit, or whatever, it's still not going to help them. And I think we all have to understand that everything we do and say and how we conduct ourselves in and around children is a lesson learned from them. They're picking up from us.
I don't think that resonates with a lot of the adults in a real way. Like if we get on the podcast, they'll say that, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah. But
yeah,
I don't see that. That's one of the things that irks me. Like as I go around, I'm not going to point out any specific place or anything like that. But that's one of the things that I observe is that does this idiot understand that these children are picking up on this? You know?
And I think we can expand parenting because you and I both are parents, and just because they're not in the company of their guardian or their biological parent, we're still parents. And so what we do out here and they can observe, it's also something that is now we're part of the problem.
Yes. So
we are part of the problem. If you're an adult and you're doing things in front of these young kids coming up, and it's not,
bro, in the barbershop that I go in up here, it's a shame that the barber is so good, and I like the way he cut my hair because, like, that's one of the things that that's why I don't engage in a lot of the conversations in the barbershop because, me, I'm a sailor and I can get colorful with my language, very colorful with my language, but man, there's a time and a place for everything. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's barbershop talk, and you could it don't have to be that rough. And that's the
Mhm.
kind of thing that I just be wondering, like, damn. And I mean,
Yeah. So we got, and this is the first time this thought ever came in mind. So we got to extend this when we start talking about where as a parents, we're the parents too. We're the grown-ups, we're parents, and if we're out here, whether it's our kids or somebody else's kids seeing me doing something that is out of line, that may be something and because you don't know how folks look up to you or and if you're doing it in their mind, that's okay. So I think we're going to have to expand this conversation. We start talking about parents and make sure that we all adults are part of that parenting pool.
no
And
doubt.
so we have to. I mean, it's our duty to be the best example for these young folks and engage with them whenever we can about the things that are affecting our communities, affecting our homes. Now, some may not like that in terms of, the parents may not like anybody engaging, but let them tell you that. I mean, don't get into all this stuff about we're not talking about sex and all this other stuff. No, let's talk about the things that are taking their lives.
Yep, let's find out if they got some ops or not. Let's see if they got some ops. You got to understand the language, if they on that demon time or not. Like,
yeah. So it's a topic, man. But yeah. So back to your original question. There are things that legislators should be on it, and I know each one of them probably, or some of the folks probably judge your worth as a legislator on things that you initiate. If your name is not on it, or if you haven't co-authored or sponsor a bill, then is this person working? I would say yes, he or she probably is, because there's so many other things that has to be done. So I wouldn't judge a legislator based on the number of bills that they out there to initiate. That wouldn't be fair, because there's just so much more. These guys and ladies are sitting on committees.
What if I compare them to somebody that has been in office comparatively the same time, the same kind of basically general size district? I mean, but there could be a perception that the other person is the type of person that's getting stuff done, and this person is not. In politics, we're talking politics.
But if you, let's flip that, because if you're just now, writing, initiating bills and that stuff, but you're not really getting out and making sure that your constituents have the things that they need, what you can provide, then you're just up there just writing bills. So there's a lot. It's so much more than that. And so again, and I've seen this argument before, during campaign time, where one person is accused of not initiating anything, been there X amount of time. But I know this person, and I know in this case, he's doing
what case you talking about?
Listen, let's hey, what does it say? It says Real Talk Tuesday, right? Hey, if I'm with you, I'm on the front lines with you. I've seen, I think anybody our audience know where some of this may not be, what caused you to bring it up, but this conversation has been had in recent.
It should be had. It's got to be had. It's got to be hashed out.
Yeah,
it's got to be hashed out. I think.
But if you take that person who's accused of not initiating this thing and said, okay, what are you doing? I guarantee you the list will be very long.
And that needs to happen. You feel what I'm saying?
And that may be if his constituent now, if his constituents is calling for that, then you provide that. But if there's just a foe, someone who just have an axe to grind with you, you may not feel obligated to entertain this person. It becomes good talk, on podcast with somebody, or Facebook Live or whatever may happen. But we've seen it.
No doubt.
I just saw someone said to me that there was a local politician says, black men should be more like Clarence Thomas. I'll be damned. That ain't gonna happen. That was just put out there.
Hey, Clarence ain't had it rough, nah.
Listen, there was a, and again, I think if you go and look at, and I'm talking about local within this county,
No doubt.
and said, no, I will not be like Clarence Thomas.
Wow.
You know, I mean, what do I say? Be more like,
Stephen from Django.
or what's this cat with, the list, Epstein. That's offensive.
Oh man.
That's offensive. Don't. Why would you even say something like that? But that was in writing on Facebook. Somebody screenshot it, sent it to me. I said, well, no, I'll be Frank McClary. If I can't be Frank McClary, I'll be James Frank McClary. That's my role model. My dad. It ain't Clarence Thomas. I mean, hell, look at when Clarence Thomas came into the game.
Anita Hill. I watched all of it.
That's why I drink ginger ales, man. I don't drink Cokes.
Oh man, listen.
Come on. But what are we doing?
No doubt. So listen, I'm gonna drop this piece right here, right, man, to get us into the next segment real fast.
This thing's getting me fired up, man.
No doubt, man. We'll readdress it.
We got to come back later and put a bow. Well, we'll never put a bow on this gun violence thing, but
it's a rolling conversation.
That's right.
And it needs to get brutal.
Yeah. Yep.
But here we go. Final years of the American Revolution. The war turned south. The Carolinas became the center of a brutal and unforgiving campaign. A fight for farms, towns, and lives. And into this struggle marched hundreds of soldiers from far beyond South Carolina, including the men of the Maryland line. Among them were both black and white soldiers, marching side by side. Free African Americans, enslaved men promised freedom, black patriots who took up arms because they believed in a future that might finally include them. One of these men was Corporal Thomas Kearny, born free on Maryland's eastern shore. Kearny joined the Continental Army in 1778. By the time he reached South Carolina, he had already fought at Brandywine, Germantown, Monmouth, Camden. He represented a truth too often forgotten. African Americans were not on the sideline of the revolution. They were in the ranks, in the battles, and in the story of America's birth. In the spring of 1778, Thomas Kearny and the Maryland line marched more than 600 miles south through Virginia, across the deep forests of North Carolina, and into the backcountries of South Carolina. Their destination, the British stronghold at 96, one of the most heavily fortified positions in the South. Here, the war was personal. This was the land where neighbors fought neighbors, patriot against loyalists, black and white on both sides of the conflict. And it was here, at the Siege of 96, that Thomas Kearny performed the act of courage that would echo long after the revolution was over. Under the constant fire of loyalist riflemen, Captain Perry Benson, Kearny's commanding officer, fell wounded. Without hesitation, Kearny lifted Benson onto his back and carried him through smoke, dust, and musket fire, delivering him safely to the surgeon's tent. Years later, Benson would testify himself that Kearny was a brave and faithful soldier to the end of the war. Kearny's rescue at 96 was not the act of an isolated hero. It was the living proof of a larger story. The courage, the sacrifice, and the resilience of the African Americans who fought for freedom that would not fully include them for generations to come. And yet their service mattered, their bravery mattered, their presence changed the course of battles and the course of the new nation that was emerging here in South Carolina.
You have yet to sign up for the Georgetown 250 committee, please go see Mr. Ken. And if you are not from Georgetown County, I charge you to go back to your county and find out when and where you can be a part of for your county's 250. All 46 counties in the state of South Carolina has a committee, and it's our duty to preserve our history. South Carolina has a whole lot of history that have yet been told, and it's our duty to do so. So please, guys, please, like my babies always say, mommy, please get involved. Please get involved as much as you can. And Mr. Ken is right there at the registration table. Give him your name. Get signed up to be a part of the Georgetown 250. Google SC250. Put in your email. Get the newsletter sent out to you every month. Get the newsletter. Guys, I'm telling you, there's a lot of history here in South Carolina. I do believe South Carolina holds the title of the most battles in American Revolution, and our story has still yet been told fully. Get involved, please, ma'ams, please, sirs, get involved. Our babies' future depend on it.
All right. See, hold on a second.
Good work.
The first part, I got to get us back on the screen. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on, where we at?
Beautiful sunset, but yeah, it's blackout. There we go.
There we go. All right. There we go. Let me get me up here. Whoa. Wait a minute, y'all.
So one or the other.
Hey, listen, the ice raids have put a strain on my crew.
Wow.
That cheap help just ain't.
Ice is affecting your work.
It's affecting my work. I got to move over now. All right, but yeah,
that's a good piece.
Well, I did not mean to show the first piece. So anybody that tries to copy that first piece, I will sue your ass. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that first piece, that was an accident. that was. I
was surprised it popped up.
Yeah, I
got a sneak preview earlier, but again, it shows folks what you're capable of doing, and that's great work. I'm very, very proud of Georgetown County, Waynesburg County too, because that effort you just showed with Pelo, those guys, that was a joint effort with Pelo and Miss Sandra.
Yep.
Williams Russell. Yeah. So, hey, what's going on, young lady? And so I'm proud of them and the Georgetown County SC 250, those efforts for, getting us on the map, because as me and part of the commission go through these things and seeing what each of the counties are doing, again, to highlight and introduce, in some cases, that lost history, the part of that revolutionary period and the history that wasn't captured when you're talking about Native Americans, African American, and those type people, children, those things that were significant to this war. The county, Georgetown County, through those folks are doing very well. Others are, I see big stage things going on in other counties as we move about the state, observing and holding our quarterly meetings. A lot of excellent stuff going on, but South Carolina was, had a significant role in the independence of this country. So learning more, but that piece you just did was very informative. And so I've got to do a little bit more work on Mr. Carney.
That brother Thomas Carney, that's actually a proof of concept page, because I want to do I've been trying to track that. Well, I have a lead on some of his ancestors, some of his descendants would be, yeah. And so that's the proof of concept for a bigger piece. How I came across this gentleman's name was I talking to you, and I ended up going out to the Eutaw Springs battlefield. Let me pull something up real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And the significance of that. Like I have been passing that place for years, driving past it. And so I went out there and saw, of course they got the monuments out there and everything like that. Because I saw it from the street, as in passing. and end up going on the site, and the first, you know how they have the I don't know what they call them, but the information boards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
First person that I saw was this gentleman right here, and it was just like, oh man, so you want me to tell your story, huh? And he was like, yeah, tell my story, bro. And you know what I mean? Because, and I mean, I went out there to capture the African American aspect of the story, and I was not expecting to find this man's story, you know, right there at Eutaw Springs, which is in Eutawville, South Carolina. And this is the gentleman right here by the name of Mr. Thomas Carney from Eastern Shore, Maryland. And fascinating. And he was a G. He was a warrior. He was hot and heavy in the action. You know, and that piece it talks about what he did at 96 up there. You guys were just up at 96.
We were at 96. So again, we had our quarter meeting in Greenwood, and so that gave me an opportunity. I went down, visited a friend's hometown down in Abbeville, saw a good football game there, and then the next day we went out to 96, and so learned so much. I've got some great stuff I brought back from there, but I was able to walk the battlefield and see, and then listen to all of the, you know, and see the, you know, reenactors and just kind of, you know, took in the difficulties and the importance of what happened back then. I didn't know that the Cherokees and the Catawba Indian tribe, they weren't on the same.
No.
They were.
No, it's Crips and the Bloods, cuz.
Yeah, they were fighting against each other. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
But you had some Indian tribes, like for instance, like the Yamasis, and again, I'm gonna bring them to light. You know what I mean? A little known, you know, but the one of the issues that they had with the settlers was that, listen, okay, cool, we're gonna be peaceful with you. They really didn't get with the Creek Indians down there where we're from. They called us like traitors. You know what I mean? Because we welcomed in these foreigners. And you know, it became a situation where, hey man, y'all hunting on this land. We told y'all can hunt over there. Y'all hunting over here, and but yeah, they didn't get along. But I apologize. I apologize.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Again, the name of 96 came about because of that trail that led from Charleston to that point was 96 miles.
96 miles.
Where that fighting, yeah, never knew. I thought,
bro,
never knew. So I think the thing that we're, you know, at least, yeah, I think that we're trying to impress upon our listeners and others is to get involved, man. There's so much rich history, and we're part of it. Andrews was a resupply depot. It wasn't Andrews then, you know. You talk obviously because this place was founded in 1909, and so you're talking back in the period that we're looking at is 1770 1783. But this area was a resupply depot. I did not know that until I got involved, and so it's fascinating.
It is.
We want everybody to get involved, and again, you know, Joy and Miss Pilor and her team, those guys are always, you know, trying to find venues to tell the story, the untold stories.
Hey, let me keep it a buck with y'all too, right? Because those of you who know me, like, boy, there must be some money involved with this dude right here involved with it. And yeah. So all my filmmakers, you gotta change your perspective. I understand you might be in a lane where you rocking, but you're talking about, again, this is like the only thing I can compare this to is because this is gonna lead from now until 2032, right? So this is like the getting on the front end of the Black River project. You feel what I'm saying? And so you need to get in and get yourself established. Right now, I am looking to work with filmmakers. There's money involved. Okay, there's money involved, and this commission is looking to your creativity can be rewarded.
Absolutely. Now yeah. So to your point, we do offer grants for events like, again, you saw Peelmore and others. Mr. Joseph McGill, who's slave dwelling. So all of those things. There's money to help you put this together to tell South Carolina's story. Now we screen these things very closely. So if you don't have it, if it's not connected to the Revolutionary War and that time period, 1770, 1783. Then you're not going to get the award. But I will tell you what, we have pushed out hundreds of thousands of dollars to to people who again have a legitimate venues like what you saw here with the Sweet Potato Festival.
Don't believe anything that we're telling you. There's the website right there. Go on there. Get you can get. There's a link there to the next time they're going to have a meeting. It's a Zoom meeting. And you can see this for yourself. You don't have to believe nothing we're saying. I mean, you should, but
yeah, it's real talk. It's real talk. So yeah, believe us, we won't lie to you. We won't lead you astray. But yeah, man, it's great stuff. So every opportunity, I get to work with a lot of great folks, a lot of smart people about the Revolutionary War, and so just sitting around the table, very passionate people about South Carolina's role in the independence of this country. And so when you see that, you have to feel good about it, because this is our state, man. So we need to, and all of us, regardless of where you're from and your state, you have a story to tell. Okay. Oh yeah, we can talk about that. It's Ava. Good to see you. By the time you get on back up this way.
All right, what we got here? January 2nd, 2026. Mark your calendar. Conversation around the campfire with Mr. Joseph McGill and the Slave Dwelling Project at the Rustic Stony Creek. Yep, man,
I don't know anything. Where's that?
I think they live streaming that.
They probably
you guys are live streaming that, right?
Oh, so we got something going on in Indian Town. We got to find out what took place there.
All right. That wasn't St. Mark.
So it wasn't St. Mark. It was Indian Town. Part of it too. Okay.
Absolutely.
Somebody's got to tell that story. I think it'll be interesting to tell. And
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And so that's huge. SC250.com. Go there, scroll through, see all the things that are happening, all the events. They're all around the state. Charleston. I mean, where every county again has a commission that is actively doing something to highlight the significance of our of that particular community or that county's role in the revolution. So go there. Hey, the only other thing one of the things I want to talk about, if you're ready to transition, unless you have something else.
Yes. No. We are there. We go ahead.
I think it's important. I'll I get sent, things that are happening on Facebook. I don't necessarily go out there to look for that. And I'm in my own kind of world. But there's a couple of things that were discussed, I think, over the last few days that I just want to bring some talk briefly about. Two things. One is the grant process. Grants and the grant money that governmental agencies or entities receive, and the other one we talk about the AMIS. I think I'll do the AMIS up front because there was a young kid I think had a very severe seizure, and I think the story as it goes is either 44 minutes or something for that ambulance to arrive there.
And inside the town of Andrews.
I don't know. I have not confirmed that, but Andrews is Andrews became.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so it became the Andrews and the mayor. You need to get it back, and I want people to understand. You, me, and a ton of other people. Not everybody that need to be involved. Fought this fight to get the ambulance back here. First of all, the town of Andrews, no small owns any EMS, never have. EMS was once here for 30 plus years. And now that EMS has been relocated to Big Dam, which is about 5 miles outside of the city limits, across the track. And so, and so it has changed the response time for things that are happening inside of the city, or inside of the town, I should say. And so I just wanted to make it clear. We fought tooth and nail to say, hey, keep it here. It didn't happen. The decision was made at the county level that ambulance be moved there, because as they assess their responsibility, their coverage area, they felt it best to move it there. And here we are. And we've been there in a little over 2 years, maybe, not longer. So, and that came up in the state of the communities forum we had a week or two ago. And again, I said the same thing. We would love to have it back here. It was not my decision. We don't own that. This person also going to say that, we don't have a, fire department. We've always had a fire department for many, many years. They're still here.
A volunteer one, by the way, too.
Volunteer, and these guys are doing great work covering, 6 mile radius, even further outside of the city, the town of Andrews. So those guys are there. So that's again, I want to go ahead and squash that. We have a fire department that supports Georgetown County and in some cases Williamsburg County. So those guys, I don't want to people to think that these guys are not on the. They're doing a fantastic job. And again, all volunteer fire department. And again, not Frank McClary, but the town of Andrews has never owned the ambulance service. That is a county resource. So I would say, please take your concerns to the county, to the director of, emergency management, the administrator, whomever it is. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. As I said earlier, we gave out turkeys to, folks in the age of 75, and we have a very vulnerable population. And it's not just the old. The old are doing. Those folks in there really actually pretty good health. There's some of the young ones, and then we have these incidents. So this is one of the docs that we talk with, try to help you understand that all of those little dots inside of that black circle are ambulance locations throughout the county, Georgetown County. The red square or rectangular, that's Andrews. There's none there. One used to be there. It is no longer there. So I'm telling you, folks, we don't make those decisions. We don't own those, never have, and cannot afford one if we, So please, I encourage you to voice your concerns, but do it with the right people. Do it to the right audience.
All right. Sorry, you kind of ran through that kind of quick right there. So what you're saying is that you had somebody got on social media and was saying they had a situation, they had a medical emergency.
Medical emergency for a very young child.
A very young child. And they had a problem with the fact that the ambulance did not arrive in a
reasonable time.
A reasonable amount of time.
Which is 40 minutes is a very long time.
Okay. And so what I would say, ma'am, first of all, I hope your child is okay. And maybe you don't know, maybe nobody has told you, but this is not only a concern for you. I had a situation where my grandfather needed an ambulance and it took a crazy amount of time. So let me bring you up to date on what we've been doing over here to try to get answers to that situation. It was expressed by the county administrator by the name. What's the young lady's name?
Miss Christian.
Miss Christian, that it was the prerogative of the county because of some study that we weren't privy to the information about, that the ambulance was moved from, if you remember, it was at the old Andrews High School in that building over there. It was removed from there to supposedly out to like Big Dam area. Okay. And if that's not available, then the next one's like at Sanpete, and if that's not available, then the next one's at Gene Ward in Georgetown. But my point is, ma'am, what we could, you screaming at the mayor and what the mayor should do. The reality is, and again, I'm not fussing with you. I'm not trying to, be smart with you, anything. I'm just trying to pass on the proper information. That the town of Andrews has nothing to do with the EMS services. That is provided by the county, right? And the county was housed inside the town of Andrews for about 30 years. So that's why we were, and I think it was some kind of mutual trade-off. They gave them free whatever the deal was. But that deal went away, okay? And then from there, they moved the ambulance depot to the old Andrews High, which still put it inside the town of Andrews, right? And then there was a decision made, okay, that the building was inoperable, whatever. There was a USDA grant. It was a lot happened, but the point is that not only have we been talking about that situation, we've been talking about the situation with the traffic lights at the four-way stop. We've been also talking about the fact that the town hall, that building that people was talking about, I was highlighting things about that money with the penny sales tax. Here is a map that was brought and made out about the ambulance situation and where the ambulances are located at in the county, and how we are being underserved in the town of Andrews. Again, here's more things that we were talking about when it comes to the four-way stop at the County Line Road, Martin Luther King and the County Line Road. Yeah, right there at that by Ebenezer Church. My point is, ma'am, we could use your voice, okay? Again, not trying to alienate you, not trying to call you out or anything, but we need as many people's voice, because apparently, the evidence that we take them is not legitimate. All right. The town went and had a meeting with the county administrator, Miss Christian. What's her name? Miss Angela Christian. And Miss Angela Christian expressed to the town, and I even talked about the fact that Miss Angela Christian has never been to Andrews. They also tore down the old Andrews High School, and they did not use the proper protocol, where that place was deemed to have black mold in it, which means that if you tear something down like that, you have to go through use what's called an abatement process, basically using water to pour on these places. And I'm going through all this to let you know that you got people here on the front line addressing the real issues. Okay, so we can use more voices. Is my point. I hope I was That's civilized in that. Usually in the past, I would go off on that and be like, but I'm more civilized now.
You're doing well. But no, that's really where we are. So it's going to have to hear from the people. We were very fortunate. We finally got the light, four-way beacon light, red lights, at that location, and it seems to be helping a lot. And we'll monitor to see if there's any more accidents there. But this ambulance situation is still a concern that that's on the table. So for me, it is. Other decision makers, as Mr. Richardson has said, have moved on, and so encourage you all to talk to those folks who represent you. You're either in for District 5 or District 3 if you're in Andrews.
That's it, and that'll be Ernie Cooper and what's his name? Raymond Newton. I don't usually use bad words, so that's why I was kind of hard to say. Damn, that's cruel.
But yeah, so those guys are running. I think you whatever district you're in, I would encourage you to call one of those gentlemen and speak with them and see if we can get this conversation back on the forefront. Because I agree, I don't disagree with it. We just don't have
No, and ma'am, I don't disagree with you. Again, you're a child. I have a elderly grandfather in the city of Andrews, and again, I sat there with him. Thank God I was there, which kind of I think played a role in him remaining calm, waiting on the ambulance for over 30 minutes. So, and it's not the mayor is supposed to fix that. That's one of the issues that I have with people, is that we open our mouths and we say things, and it's just we're wrong. We want answers, and you're not wrong for wanting answers. So I would encourage you to hit that follow button and become a subscriber of Andrews the Podcast. You can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's 99 cents a month. You don't even got to do all that, but I mean, if you want to stay up on the, you know what I mean, you would do that. But the least you can do is just pop it on ahead every Tuesday. This information is for everybody. So you can.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Please continue.
No. I was about to say too much. Okay,
that's why I jumped in. Well, these things that we've talked about are very near and dear to our hearts. And so our passion sometimes get the best of us, and in the real, the uncut emotional response comes out. And so I'm trying to be much calm about it now, because again, we have so many things that we still have to address that it's trying a different approach. The only other thing, and again, we the town of Andrews just are in receipt now, or not in receipt, but we were notified that the grant we applied for back in September, that grant was awarded.
More money.
It was, I think it was published today, or talked about it in another media source, social media source. But I want to make it clear again, because there's again comments, and if we got to keep explaining to you how this works, that money does not come to this town or any entity. That money is held up at the state level, or if it's federal. And once these contracts, you go through this whole entire contract process that involves, in our case, we have the Waccamaw Regional Council of Governments, who manages, when we, again, we work out agreement, they will manage their project managers, well, in terms of the money and those things and the process. And so very helpful. Kudos to those, those two young ladies that are always with us, working to get these grants. And then there's an engineer company that's a major part of this thing. And so then once all that is settled, bids go out, they come back in, and a contract is selected. The money does not come, when the money is released from up there, it has to be an invoice that goes through all of these people I talked about that say, yep, the work was completed, and now we'll take this pay request and send it to the state. After we'll sign off on it. Yes, that this portion of the work was done. We sign off on that piece. That money then is sent down here to an account that matches that invoice that goes directly to that contractor. And I think people are stuck in the past when all that money, I assume,
and all the stealing was going on in there,
the money would come straight down to whatever entity was awarded. That doesn't happen.
So let me ask you this part, because there's still, yes, they have that safety precaution in place.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, what is the role of your office, as far as, I guess this is a rhetorical question.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the responsibility of seeing these projects done, because I think that's where the problem happens at. Because I've heard you talk about contractors that you got to kind of go back on, like to make sure they're doing the work. Because what happens in these situations is, in my opinion, and I guess history has proven it, where the reality is you're not spending your money, so people are not so in leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
They write the check and don't do follow up. How important is that once these entities get this grant money, like in your case?
Okay, let me make sure I understand the question in terms of how in the management portion of it, or
in the management. Not well, again. So once the invoices come in, like because that's basically what I mean. You're going to collect these bids. and go through that process. Once that process is done, what is the responsibility of the entity, the government, in ensuring that the quality of work is
well, there's two things. Now we could, if you're not involved, you can sit back. Again, when we're talking about, we have the COG who does a lot of the Council of Government, the Walker-Mark Council of Government. And the COG and those guys are involved in the entire grant writing piece of that thing and making sure that process is done right. They're in direct communication with the state, and again, making sure. But we're in that loop. We have to be, because we are the customer, and so then our role is to make sure is all of that's done. That COG is doing what it's supposed to do, because then they get paid to do this too as part of that grant process. The engineers who's a part of it in terms of making sure that this thing is, the bids and the construction and all of that is done properly. Now ours, we have to pay attention to what's going on. We're involved in that from the ground up to make sure that, if we're in this case, Morgan, it's designed for an 8-inch pipe to replace 6-inch and, sewer line, and to increase this 2-inch line, this 2-inch water line up to a 6-inch water line. All of that, we got to make sure that's going in the ground, because at the end of the day, we're the ones going to be stuck with it. So our involvement, we're constantly watching and monitoring, and now that's just from the work piece of it. Now from money management, we don't put our hands on that. We again, it's verified that this invoice and the work that was done. I'll sign off on that. Administrator brings that down and give it to me. Now I'll look at it. We look at it, sign it, and it goes up as a part of the pay request. Say, yep, everybody in this loop that's not a contractor have verified that this work has been done. I sign off on it, and it goes up, and then that money is sent to the exact amount that matches this pay request. It's sent to a separate bank account, because it has to come down it's come down somehow. That's how it comes down to a bank account specific for this project. And then that money, every penny of it, is given to the contractor. All of that, and then like now Magnolia, so you see the administrator over here giving us the technical term.
The official, like hold up, y'all gonna mess this up.
Yeah. So all of that, again, what's important for those folks out there that who always thinks that somebody is taking money. Look, wasn't raised that way. That's not how I operate. That's not going to happen.
When I get elected, then you can worry about that. That's gonna happen if I get elected. I'm just gonna
I don't worry about that part, but I think it's important that if you're going to be a voice on social media, know what you're talking about, because there's somebody out here that believes you and going to take your word as opposed to doing the research. So it's just not helpful. Don't do that. Right. Not on either one of our watches. Now, you mentioned something earlier. I want to make it clear that there is money that comes from, there's match money in most of these grants. When you say match, the government, the higher government want to make sure that you have some skin in the game, whatever entity it is, in this case, Andrews. So for a $750,000 grant, then I think it's either 10% match. We have to have 10% of that available before we are being awarded. That's a part of the stipulation.
Meaning the town got to have that on
town
deck.
Have to have that percentage, yes, that 10%, or I think in Rio maybe 15%. I could be wrong, and I'm sure the administrator say something. So there's a small portion, and that makes sure that
that's what most of these grant processes is, that you got to have and I mean, even I'm talking about SC250 now. It ain't, you just ain't walking in there like, hey, just give me some money. I got some money. No, they want to see that you got some skin in the game, and it's there's a 20%, whatever the thing is. Yeah, and you got to verify. Yeah, I got my part. Then but
that's what this grant. The total cost of that includes that town, in this case, Andrews match piece. So now, if you get to the end of the contract or wherever it is, and you don't, and now there's a shortfall, a 10% shortfall. Well, Andrews, you've agreed in writing. So now that brings on a whole nother set of issues if you don't have that.
Jail.
That's how, yeah. or you've done lied because you've now signed this thing. Say, yes, I do have the money set aside for this project. And so when we go through the budget process, we put money aside for capital improvement projects. And that's what it is. And so that money can't be touched. That's what is done. Once this budget is approved, every penny is accounted for, and it must go to those things that this council, not McCleary, the council voted on. And whether it's a 4-3, 5-2, whatever it is, that council votes on this thing, and that's how we manage it. And every month, if they would come to a meeting, we talk about what has happened over the last month in terms of spending, where we are, how much, what's the percentage, did we overestimate or underestimate, the cost of doing business in this particular line item, and we just look at it. So that's how we monitor, and that's the checks and balances. And so then, if those people out there are curious about where the money is going, come on in.
They're not curious about where the money is. They're more interested in hyperbole and getting clicks on Facebook and all that other stuff like that, because
that's not
that. And no,
get written off. You don't spend. At this point in time, it's 10 years in this job, and I now know who is with us and who's not. This town is going to move forward as best we can and as fast as we can, and we want everybody to come along. But you have to realize that some people just wake up in the morning just to have a voice. They have no friends apparently, and social media is where they get to talk to people, and oftentimes is uninformed. No one.
That's because that's the kind of thing that it's that negative bias.
And so in fact, this class we just had in this just yesterday, they talked about communication and talked about the skeptics, in everyone's respective, and they're going to be there. Everybody, it's kind of therapeutic, if you will, for me to go to these things, because I get to hear other mayor and elected officials, tell the same story about some of. I'm like, are you reading something from Andrews? No, I got this guy or this lady that is always saying these things, which does not align with reality.
And they think they're unique in doing it. And sometimes, like when I hear people talk, you realize, man, they are not traveled at all. I mean,
and it's just not helpful. But that's just the way it is. And so you can either spend 80% of your time with 1% of your town, or you can spend that with people who are really trying to move forward. And that's where I've chose to be, with those who are ready, who want to move forward and have an understanding that it's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to take some time. We're in a place right now. This grant I'm just talking about is going to now solve one of the major concern I've had for a long time, when that AT&T tower came in and just disrupt the flow of sewer from the entire eastern side of the town. That cut everything off, and so that's a single point of failure. Right now, we operate on a bypass pump to move the waste around and get it to the collection point. Well, now this is going to fix that, And I'll say this: we attempted a few months ago to get a grant which involved a survey, and there was, I think, four houses on the east side of town that intentionally did not sign that. And again, in these type grants, you have to have 100% of the people say, yes, this is, I'm affected by this problem over here, and I'm going to fill this little short survey out to let you know. That is the second time we've missed a grant. And so now we choose to go a different route. We'll go with the grants that we don't have to get their input, because we know that if this doesn't get fixed, that same person who did not fill out that survey is going to be affected by it. Now you want to raise Cain because you have a backup. Well, guess what? You and 3 of your other friends were the single point of failure for us not getting the grant, because you think you're hurting somebody up here in town hall. No, you're hurting everybody on that side and yourself. So we have, we took a different approach. Thank God it came through, and now we're going to move forward and get this thing fixed so we can focus on other things. So it just, and again, that's that small percentage of you'll find in any and every community. That is just their role. They wake up to says, I'm going to be a problem. I'm going to be a pain in your side. I'm going to get on these little social media networks, and I'm going to tell as many lies as I can.
Town criers.
But if they haven't noticed, it hasn't stopped us yet, because we're here to do the work for this town and for those.
Man, Mayor, just take a picture of that stuff you're talking about and send it to DHEC, bro.
That's not the solution. That was somebody attempted to do that back in the day.
That's how we get it done at Andrews, baby. Take a picture, send it up there, and they'll believe that you're working on it. But put a backhoe in front of it.
Believe it or not, someone told me that. Yeah, no, DHEC a little bit more. They all have boots on the ground. They will come out and check. So if you're trying to mislead them about work going on, it ain't gonna happen. But we've been very blessed and fortunate to get these things. And I was shocked when I opened that letter. I was like, what is this? Congratulations, you've been awarded this X amount of money to take care of this problem. And so again, shout out to administrator, Walkabout Regional Council of Government, Keck and Wood Engineering Firm, and all those guys who put this thing together.
That's on the record for real. Like, that's official.
Oh, what? Oh, the backhoe in the picture.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy, man.
No doubt, man.
Can't try that.
All right, so hey, listen, people have been taking cars in your city there. Apparently, what's going on with the?
Well, apparently, and if you own a Kia, I think that's a Kia.
Yeah. Let me run through this here real fast.
Okay.
All right, the real issue going across the country, and it's hitting South Carolina too. Kia cars are being stolen at an insane rate. And the crazy part is it's not even high-tech criminals. It's teenagers with a USB cord who's doing this stealing. Apparently, certain Kia and Hyundai's models from 2011 to 2012 did not come with a engine immobilizer, a basic anti-theft feature almost every car has. That means that these cars can be started without the actual key. TikTok and social media made it worse, of course. Videos literally showing step-by-step on how to steal them. Results, national thefts jumped 800 to 1,000% in some cities. Insurance companies raised rates. Some even refused coverage. I guess the punchline in this is this ain't just kids being bad. This is a perfect storm created by weak car security and social media stupidity.
Yeah, we had I think just this past weekend there were 3 vehicles of this type that were broken into, and again, it's a national problem. I'm told now that insurance, because of this, insurance is pretty high to get these things. But again,
how that's the thing where the government should step in. Ain't no damn way. That's not my fault. I ain't designed this goddamn car. Now, I'm sorry. I done lost it now. This is ridiculous. Like,
but that's the insurance company, and just don't. Hey, until Kia figures it out, then just don't buy them. But that's on that end. On this end, we're telling you, if you own one, just know that it's a targeted vehicle. Not only that, there was another story I saw where this, someone will approach your house with this. It looks like and then it's an antenna of some sort, and it's designed to trigger your fob for your car. And this is pretty. Yeah, I saw it. I'll have to look up the story and send it to you so we get it out.
I got an antenna for their ass.
But so those guys are literally walking around your house until this antenna connects with the fob, and it unlocks your car. And in a matter of a second, these guys who are really good at it, your vehicle is, and it's not a Kia. This is I think this is any of your luxury cars, vehicle, trucks, and this is a real problem. And so, again, get cameras, get lights around your house, because people, not just here, all around this country, do not respect the privacy of homeowners and property owners, and they're coming on that. And it's not always someone that's influenced by drugs. It's people that are just career criminals.
They're just career criminals, and so here's what Kia has done to try to eliminate the situation. Here's why it's not enough. Kia released a free software updates. Some cars need physical anti-theft hardware installed at the dealership. They've even given out free steering wheel locks, which is probably your best thing. I know they. Let's see. And here's the thing: a lot of people still don't know about this whole thing.
Yeah, no, no. Some of them too busy out here telling lies about grant money and how it's processed.
Yeah, I mean, but man, you can't sell people car missing the one thing that stop it from being stolen, and then act surprised when the streets get flooded with thefts. Like, and then the insurance companies are able, like, for me, that's enough to put them two in a conspiracy together. They plotted this together. Ain't no way in hell you gonna tell me I ain't gonna insure it. You know what I mean? Because it's easier to steal.
But look at the whole story, the whole origin of fentanyl. Who was behind that?
China.
You think it was China?
Yeah, China has the precursors to it. They sent it over to Mexico. That's they sent it over, and then they put it together in these countries and then send it up. And this is like, all right, if I send these two chemicals separately, it's not illegal. But once you get it in the country and put it together, then it becomes something else. It's some kind of like loophole like that with the things that make the whatever it is to make friends. What you got it? South Carolina premiums are the worst over time. Excuse me, oftentimes. States additionally, yeah, it's crazy how that's just like that's on y'all. You know what I mean? We sold you a car that can be easily stolen with a damn USB cord. Everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. Hell, I can go get me a Kia right now. Look at that. I got a USB cord red.
Don't do it. And but yeah, it's mad. It's just mad. But yeah, just please be aware that if you own one of these vehicles or any vehicle, seem like now that with these other guys out here with this antenna that's causing this thing to trigger your fob. So just be very, very careful of your property and where you go, because it's just not safe out here right now.
And here, if you own one of these vehicles that's affected by this, here's some practical things that you can do. Check if your Kia model qualifies for the free anti-theft update. Go to the dealership. It's free, but you have to ask for it. That's crazy. They send you everything else in the mail, but make sure you go and ask. And if you know somebody that has a Kia, they may not be aware of what's going on. They may have no clue as to what's going on. They may not even be aware that Kias are being stolen.
Put some kind of tracker device if you don't have, what is that?
AirTag.
AirTags. Those are affordable type things. But it's you can also purchase that.
Yeah, or get one of them that old school steering wheel key. I mean that lock that you. Bro, I used to live in San Diego, California. That's like car theft central, and I mean, that's that thing to lock the steering wheel, was seemed to be pretty effective. Right. Parking in well lit or monitored areas, which that seems not to be a deterrent. Do not leave key fobs or valuables in car. consider installing a GPS tracker. Just like we were just saying, they're relatively cheap now, so you should be able to get one for
So these cats can get into your bank account, your credit card, a car is probably real easy. So and it's unfortunate that these days and time that everything has to be you have to be on on alert all the time wherever you go, protecting your person, your property. We're in a crazy time, but that's the way it is. And as technology continues to advance, there's hackers and other people out there sticking right along with it, figuring out how to counter any security measures.
Yeah, but who protects the little man? Because if you drive a Kia right now, you shouldn't have to live in fear. You know what I mean? That your car is going to disappear because the company cut corners. And then the insurance company is giving you the big middle finger, like, yo, that ain't my problem, cuz. What you mean that ain't your problem? That's all our problem.
Yeah, you read those policies, man. But I think they're all probably, they just know, purchase a home, car, anything that you're going to pour your hard-earned dollars into, do the research. Figure out what's there. There's enough out there to tell you that this may not be the one because of X, Y, Z. That's the best you can do. Otherwise, living. Yeah, Mazzala said when you find someone laying in Elm Square, don't y'all go to Elm Square. You've been told. You've been warned.
And listen.
Oh man, and I believe it too. So yeah, so this and again, Neighborhood Watch. See it, say something. That's where it is. Hey, last thing I have, my friend, is that big shout out to some of our athletes here. Big Tunk Dorsey is now, he's currently at Erskine.
Erskine is in the rear view, baby.
Yeah, so he's moving on. He's got
five offers in already, man.
Five offers to go to D1 school. That's huge. Tunk is a wide receiver and now holds a record at Erskine for the most touchdowns. And so he's doing great. We talk about Chef on board, who is, I think they're from the same class.
Sam Houston University.
And yeah, so he's now moved on and big dude now squatting. Well, he's always been a big guy, but squatting 600 pounds, doing great stuff. And so, and JP Pinckney, man, this guy's now having conversation with pro scouts out there, in Major League Baseball. So we keep all these young men in your prayer that they will again continue to move up and do well in the sport of their choice. And we're looking at some big time guys leaving school this year, football, heading off for the bright future. Talking about old big Chris Stewart.
Yeah, basketball started also. Does anybody have any report? How did they do tonight and yesterday in the Steel Town tournament? The team is
no. I don't know what's happening with that.
I think I may be able to get out tomorrow and catch a game or whatever. But we're looking at Tunk Dorsey's page right now, and he just received his latest offer from North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
Let me go down and pull up the other schools. He also received an offer from Eastern Kentucky University. He also has received an offer from get down here a little bit, from that is NAU, that is Northern Arizona University, I think. And then also from let me pull this article up. Pull this up.
Yeah, you just wait till they find out that he's also a heck of a baseball player too.
They ain't gonna let that kid on the baseball field, man. This kid is 6'5". This kid is built for the NFL, man. He is.
I agree, but if he can be two sport, and he has, that's where he started to shine before he became the big time wide receiver. Mm-hmm. But so he's a special athlete, man. And so we keep your eyes on him. There's other guys mentioned. Again, I mentioned our seniors now that are leaving here again. Chris Stewart is sought after, by several schools. We're talking about Davion McNair, and you'll see both those guys play in the on December 13th in the North-South game. So again, everybody else available, please get down to Myrtle Beach, check these guys out. And I haven't heard much about my man. I call him the strongest man on campus, Riley Jordan, but I'm sure he's going to be playing somewhere too, man. He's a special athlete as well.
I think Riley was eyeing Wofford. I think that was one of the last places he went and visited up there.
Right.
He looks like a Wofford man.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have a super, super, super good young man with just loads of talent to play the game. So wherever he goes, it's going to be an addition to their program. And then of course, my main man, AJ Lee, with football. I heard he's playing basketball. I didn't hear it. I got it from the source. He's playing basketball. I just want him to be careful out there because we don't want anything to interfere with his opportunities to play at that next level of football, because he's one of those backs, and he get into the right program, you'll see him on Sundays. All of these guys we're talking about, Riley, all of them, you'll see these guys playing on Sundays, man. They really are just that type of athlete. So wanted to recognize them, and all of them. Then there's some young ladies. I didn't get their names, but we have young ladies that signed with several colleges, or several young ladies signed with colleges to play softball, and so we got to make sure we highlight them next week.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a softball player out there too, so we just got to get those in. They know we spend most of our time with the football team, but there are other star athletes in the other sports that from Andrews High, and shout out to young man Mr. Giles down there. He's heading off to USC, and those guys had a perfect season. Ran into boys up there with Barnwell.
No, Bamberg, Red Raiders.
Bamberg. Bamberg, and again, football up in the upstate, man. I just got to give it to him. Again, I had the opportunity to watch Abbeville and Louisville play, and everybody's is on 10, and so they take football, and that's what we need to do here. Not just the individual players that we were just talking about. Everybody need to approach this thing, with a winning attitude, and you're going to leave it on the field. And that's what I saw there with these teams. And obviously Bamberg is no different.
Oh yeah. Football is life here.
So shout out to all of them, all of the athletes, cheerleaders, band, all those kids that's going to go on to school and continue to do the things they like to do. But so that's where we are, my man.
No doubt. I think we covered everything.
Anything that you got out there in the I see we have a few active participants tonight. Anything that we need to cover that may not have been addressed?
No, man. I'm about done, and this Remy is starting to kick in. So anything past this point right here.
Oh yeah, we go ahead and cut it there before.
Yeah.
Remy Martin have a tendency to take over.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we appreciate everybody listening in, man. Hopefully, what we've talked about has been helpful to someone. Help understand some of the complexities, success, all that stuff that what's going on right here. And we talk about the shortfall as well. Not everything is rosy, but if you want to get it and you want to get it accurate, come here to Real Talk Tuesday.
No doubt. And if you want your turkey to taste proper, you might want to hit the like button. If you don't hit the like button, that turkey ain't gonna be right for you this Thanksgiving. But y'all have a good one. And,
I'm looking forward to all my sisters. I'm coming to the house. Here's what I'm bringing: an appetite. That's
there
it.
You go.
I'm not bringing anything else but an appetite. So feed me, move out of the way. I get on the couch, go to sleep, and the day is gonna be. And then watch some football. Watch Dallas go down.
Oh man,
I
don't even want to talk about that. That bull, the Eagles. Your Eagles, you suck. Jared, your team sucks. You had one damn job to do, and you let them off the hook. We are who you thought you were.
They are who they thought they were, and you let them off the hook.
Oh man!
And so did my coach, man. They let Kansas City off the hook. So now these two losers get to play. Kansas City and Dallas. I think that's who's playing for. Just beat Dallas. That's all we want.
That's it.
I know I get some hate mail now. Oh, there she is.
There it is off the top. I mean, you can set a timer to that. You say Dallas T-minus 10 seconds.
I'll get all kind of hate mail. Cynthia, go to sleep.
No doubt. All right, listen, guys, listen. There it is right there. That's that coin that you want. And if you want to get you a coin, here is how. They say freedom isn't free. And tonight, as we look upon this simple table and remember the ones who paid the price but never came home, this is the missing man table. Each piece tells a story. The small table, for one, symbolizes the isolation of our prisoners of war. The white cloth represents the purity of their service, their willingness to answer the call. The single red rose reminds us of families who still wait year after year, hoping for word of their loved ones' return. The lemon is bitter, just like their fate. The salt, the tears of those left behind. The glass is inverted. The chair left empty because they are not here. But their spirit remains. Their sacrifice endures. Here in Andrews, South Carolina, we're doing something powerful, something historic. We're building a POW MIA monument, one of only a few in the entire state of South Carolina, to honor those who were taken and those who never returned, a place where generations can come to learn, reflect, and remember, a place where their stories live on. But we can't do it alone. We need your help, your donations, your support, your voice to bring this monument to life. Every dollar brings us one step closer to honoring our heroes right here at home. So join us, be a part of history. Donate to the POW Monument of Andrews, South Carolina. For those still missing, for those who never came home, for those we will never forget.